introducing Clive Baulch.
Okay, comrades. My name is Clive Baulch, and November last year I was sanctioned. Now, sanction, for those who don't know, is a euphemism for vicious benefit cut. I've been pondering what to say for the last, 2 days, I suppose. I've had 7 different drafts of what I'm about to say, but I decided in the end that I'll just say what I'm going to say, and I need to put my cards on the table right now. I hate the nasty pot. I hate them. Screw up, Pete. The discourse in this country, which is basically around strivers and skivers. Skivers are feckless, work-shy bastards, and I'm proud to be one, actually. All the major parties talk this language, unfortunately. So is it any wonder this language seeps through our society, and it seeps into everyday discourse? The staff in the job centres believe it, and they use the same language when they speak of claimants. Job centre staff patronise us all the time. They try to catch us out because they believe that we're all committing fraud. They believe the rhetoric, so it's little wonder that jobless end up believing that being on the dole is somehow their fault. If you're unemployed and claiming benefits, then you end up turning the blame back on yourself. If you listen to something like LBC Radio, day after day you get endless debates, and we're all the same, we're all feckless, we're all work shy. A recent poll suggested that 60% of the population think that the unemployed should receive no benefits at all. In fact, I predict that following the next election, regardless of whichever party wins, I expect to see job seekers allowance ended for claimants after 6 months on the dole. I really do believe that. Where disabled and ill claimants are concerned, the public believe that over 70% of the disabled claimants are fraudulent. I'm sure that someone else will have something else to say about that. There's a massive increase in hate crime. People being thrown out of wheelchairs, mobility cars being vandalised. This will become a major concern over the next few years. I'll get another one of my predictions. So, I was sanctioned in November of last year. I had no money for 2 months. It was not a pleasant experience. I did try begging one day, but it's too humiliating for me to do. I'm just one of 680,000 people who were sanctioned last year. Think about that figure. 680,000 people. But that's just, and also it's worth mentioning that not all of those people are sanctioned by a job centre, because 40% of people are actually sanctioned by the private providers. So people like Serco, people like A4E, they all have the power to sanction people. Although approximately half of the people they put forward for sanctions are not sanctioned because the job centre decide otherwise. But that is a fact. That the DWP are relying upon the sanctioned people for their savings, and over the next year, the Department of Works and Pensions expect those sanctions to rise up to 90%. So that's 90% of everybody signing on will be sanctioned. That's the expectation. So it's now almost impossible for a claimant to have an unbroken claims record. So the number of those sanctions will increase because they're crucial to the amount of money that's taken from the DWP budget. I appealed my sanction. I appealed my sanction at the beginning of December, and it's not going to be heard because it's been parked somewhere with everybody else's sanctions, because Ian Duncan-Smith has no way that he wants to pay all that money, because it's about £140 million. There's no way he wants to pay it. So he's parked us up somewhere. Also, you may have noticed a few weeks ago that this government passed some legislation through Parliament, which was retrospective legislation. It was a direct result of losing the appeal against Kate Riley delivered. It was a retrospective piece of legislation, and it was necessary because the Court of Appeal found that the statutory instruments that were used to set up the works fair scheme were in fact a useless piece of paper, and no possibility of being worked out in any fair way. So they were not fit for purpose. It follows that those who had been sanctioned previously to that appeal were entitled to get their money back, but Ian Duncan-Smith has decided that they will not get their money back, no matter what. The disabled, the mentally ill, the unemployed, single mothers, we're all being thrown under the wheels of the bus. So my question to you is, what are you going to do about it? No, it's enough. I'm finished.
Thank you, Clive. I know that it's a really difficult time for you, and very emotional as well, and you're going through a really hard time. But I'm quite happy that in some ways that we've sort of connected with you as SWAN, because I think what we were doing with the Solidarity Fund that's going around. It's really important that we kind of recognise that all of us can end up in this situation at the moment as social workers. So yeah, thank you, Clive.